Alright, y'all, I'm back in Tennessee after a pretty unsuccessful trip to Alabama. I had a little time today to do just a little bit of quick walking around, see if I can find some fresh turkey sign. In the past, this spot has been pretty reliable early in the season. I've never had luck later in the season out here. I think part of the reason is because birds love to flock here in the fall and winter time. That, and it's also got easy road access, so it gets some hunting pressure. And the hunting pressure combined with the fact that they're still flocked up, they just kind of break up and go to other places after the first week or two of the season. It's worth stopping by, like especially middle of the day. I think I killed one bird here on opening day at 11 in the morning, and I killed another bird here opening day at like 1 in the afternoon. Right now I'm just looking for those good areas that they've been scratching in. See if there's a flock in here right now. We got a little less than 2 weeks until season, so things will change a little bit, but I bet if they're in here now, they'll definitely be in here opening week. Didn't take long getting into some turkey scratch. Judging by this, looks like the flock was headed this way. And you can get a general idea by looking at multiple. See where they scratched here? They raked all the leaves to this side, so they're facing that way. See here, same thing here. And if you look at all of them, they all kind of have the leaves pushed to this side. Now this scratch has been rained on. This is not super fresh, but it's fresh enough that you can still see it pretty clearly. Now it's mixed with armadillo sign. I always mention this because we got so many of these dang things. Armadillos rake the leaves too, but they also dig into the ground like that. But there was definitely some turkey scratch there, and it looks like the leaves are all roughed up through here. So we're gonna go on and see how much of this is turkey sign and if we can get into any fresh. Literally, as soon as I said that, I hopped over here and we got the dirt is still, almost can see a track there. The dirt is still wet here, and you can see where they just kicked the leaves all through here, and they've. Be quiet and listen. When it's this fresh, you never know if they're 50 yards ahead, 500 yards ahead, but they're somewhere over that way. There's a river that comes this way, and we're up high, so it's kind of a drop off. And they'll roost both sides of the river, and the other side I can't hunt. But I don't know if you can tell, these leaves are all tore up through here. Looks like they were going off this way. They may have gone that way. We're gonna find out. I'll probably catch up to these birds. I gotta keep it down. There's a dang plane flying over. I don't know if you can hear, but I can hear a bunch of scratching right over this rise. They're between here and the river, within 100 yards. And it's a big flock of them. It's probably gonna be hens. I can hear them from here over to there. I can't get much closer before a head pops up and busts me. That's one thing I don't recommend is sneaking up on turkeys and spooking them before season. I'm just trying to show you. I'll get a quick look at them. Okay, there's no point in spooking birds right before season. I've seen all I need to see. A big flock of hens. I think I might have seen a jake. For all I know, there's toms with them. Maybe, may not, but I know the toms are not far. This is where the turkeys are comfortable, and this is where they're going to stay comfortable until season. One of those spots I might come opening morning, I might not. There's going to be somebody in here. If I'm not parked here, somebody else will. But they'll probably be gone by lunchtime. I come in here 11, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, try to find a lonely gobbler. I've done it before. This is a good spot to do that. The reason they're always in here, it's a good mix of habitat. They love the hardwoods. There's acorns. They're by a river. There's green fields across the river. There's green fields that way. some real thick stuff down that way. There's another creek that comes into the river, and there's good nesting cover up along the edge of that thicket. They love to flock here in the winter. The abundance of red oak acorns, I think, probably help hold them over through the winter, keep them nice and fat. I've still got a little time. That didn't take me long to find the birds at all, so I'm going to head right back to the truck and check another spot where there's some growed up fields, and they're either going to be cut or burned, or they're still going to be growed up. Okay, so 8 years ago today, March 17th, I walked down this path, came out to this spot. First time ever scouting public land. I got a tip from a local call maker. Ran into him at Walmart, and he told me, drive here, go down that road, whatever, and I somehow found the spot. And on my third hunt here, 2011 season, I killed my first jake, my first turkey, which is a jake. In that field up ahead, we'll look at that in just a minute. But I came out to scout 2 weeks before season, which was March 17th, which is 8 years ago today. So I don't hunt it like I used to. It gets hunted pretty hard. A lot of people know about it. It's usually only good for the first week or two of season, and the birds kind of move off. I killed on opening day in the evening here 2 seasons ago, maybe. They usually burn some of these fields. Looks like they're getting ready to right now. They've got the fire breaks all disked up, but nothing's been burned yet. The first year I hunted it 8 years ago, it was a really good burn. It even got into the woods in a couple spots, but the fields were completely bare and black. Nice charred, everything burned to the ground. This field right here, this is the one where I killed my first turkey. I came out of these hardwoods, and there was a bunch of birds out there, and I snuck to one of those little cedar trees there, sat under the cedar tree, and did some cluck and purring on a little tube call I had made. One of the hens got mad and came running into me about 5 yards from me, and 2 jakes were on her tail, and I shot one of the jakes at 6 yards. So that's how that all happened. But notice out in this field there's some saplings and stuff. You can tell they don't really bush hog it much. They burn it, but it doesn't burn as good as it used to, because they got saplings and a lot of briars. Turkeys like it when it's burned, and it opens up some of the fields. They got a little area they can strut around and do their thing. And even if it doesn't burn, they've got the edges disked up, so turkeys like that dirt, and they like to dust in it and pick around for bugs and whatever, and they like to strut in it because it's open area. You'll bump nesting hens. Has got great nesting habitat out here. Anyway, I'm just coming out here to see if the birds are tearing it up right now, just like I did at the other spot. The field edges look great. The fields are real tall. Good deer habitat, good quail, rabbit habitat. But these edges are great. The birds will use these edges so you can see all the way down that field edge. Any of the locals around here would recognize this spot, I'm sure, because it's pretty popular, but it's worth checking out. Just for old time's sake, if nothing else. I want to see if the birds are out here. Alright, here's where I killed my first longbeard in 2012. So it was the year after I killed my first turkey out here. Now this field, I believe, was bush hogged that year. It wasn't burned, but it was short. It didn't have all this tall crap here. But there was a guy set up 350 yards down there. My birds were over here. I had hens on both sides and 3 big toms across the river that flew to my side. And there was a tree stump right here. It was here last year, I think. It finally washed away in the flood. You can see where there used to be a tree stump there, and it came up about this high. And I was sitting here, and Tom came up about 10 yards away, came up and looked at me, saw my gun and my camera. I couldn't even film him. He just looked right at me and started putting, and they eased on down and came out into the field further down. And they saw the guy's decoys out there, and they went all the way across. And he shot one. And they didn't fly away. The rest of them, they came right back, and they just filed one at a time right down into this corner, and I shot my tom right here. And that was my bird. Was a 2-year-old bird that had a 12.5-inch beard. His was like a 10-inch beard. 3-year-old bird had bigger spurs. That was one morning I'll never forget. I've actually got a little bit of footage from that morning. The quality's not the best, but if you're interested, I'll show you here just a little bit of footage that I got from that morning. So now as I'm walking this field, everything looks a little different. My tree stump's gone. The field's getting taller every year because they don't cut it anymore. One thing that hasn't changed, the turkeys are still here. That's gotta be a gobbler. The gobbler tracks in here. Probably gobblers and hens have been in here. That might be a hen track, it's a little smaller. The turkeys are still here. This is still definitely worth hunting. I'm not sure where they're at now. They probably still roost along the river right here. They'll roost down there, they'll roost over here. They're gonna roost somewhere around the river, and sometimes they roost up in the hardwoods too. Speaking of hardwoods, we're gonna head in there, see if we can find any scratch, and then I'll be working my way back towards the truck. Don't mind if I pick up a free chair on the way back. It's not even rotted. Somebody left that in the river or something and flooded here about a week or two ago. Guess the flood left it for me. That'll wash up, that'll be a good chair. Some more scratching here. I haven't bumped anything yet, so they're probably further down that way, which is good. I don't really want to bump them. But if they're not out in these fields, they're in these woods. It's pretty straightforward to spot. If you can't find them in either, then they're probably gone off to other places. That's a gobbler track. A good set of gobbler tracks and a good set of scout and hunter tracks too. Like I said, this spot does get hunted. But I'm debating giving it a shot just for old time's sake more than anything. I know I can go somewhere else and find a turkey, but they're still here, and I can put up with people for one day and try my hand at killing a bird out here again. Let me know what you all think. Should I give it a shot or should I just go somewhere else? I think it's worth trying. It just depends on how the rest of my spots look and how opening weekend goes and all that. I may come out here, I may not. Also, I'd like to see if they do burn it this year. Even if they don't, I think it's going to be pretty good.